What's going on, everybody? Lloyd Jones with Midnight Comics here, and welcome to Indie versus Creator Clash Part 2. If you guys remember, on Tuesday we had an amazing cast, right? A bunch of awesome creators that had their characters in the previous Indie Breakdown episodes. Which, in case you're not familiar with Indie Breakdown, just show where we break down your favorite indie characters' powers, stats, abilities, and get them prepared for this phase of it, the Indie versus stage. So what we're going to be doing in part 2, we're going to get you introduced to the rest of the contestants that you guys didn't have the opportunity to check out on Tuesday. So definitely a bunch of awesome people here. And what we're going to do is bring the first contestant up to the stage. Bring him on. Okay, there's Roddy. There we go. Well, both of them are up on the stage first, but what we're going to do is we're going to start with the face that you didn't get to see on Tuesday. Go ahead and introduce yourself, brother. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm thinking he's about to go right here. So you already know what time it is, man. It's your boy, Juwan Dabney. I'm the author of Black Bow. Yeah, we in this joint, man. I'm excited to see what's about to happen.
Oh yeah, for sure. And of course, we are rejoined by Rodney. How you doing, man?
Doing good. I'm glad you guys brought me back on for
Uh-oh.
the second
Did he
one.
freeze?
Am I frozen?
Oh.
Am I frozen? Am I good?
It was frozen on my screen. I apologize. I think it was my connection.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm glad you guys are bringing me back for the second one. So.
Oh yeah,
Awesome.
for sure. So what we're gonna do, of course, creator of Black Bow here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna play a video for the audience, to get reintroduced to the character of Black Bow.
What?
Uh-oh. Testing.
Powerless citizen to the symbol of hope for Nickel City, Black Bow vows to end the corruption of his city and sets his sights on ending corruption in the world as a whole with the ancient powers of Anu. So Black Bow in base is at peak physical strength. When he taps into the powers of Anu, his strength is taken up tenfold. He has superhuman accuracy and is able to add power to his arrows, causing them to explode on impact. His arsenal includes smoke arrows, sonic arrows, EMP arrows, and much more. Pair this with his ability to apply Anu to them, makes his arsenal extremely dangerous. So Black Bow's speed, he was seen perceiving bullets being fired and ran fast enough to defend a bystander in his trajectory and was able to deflect those same bullets with his bow without being hit by the oncoming fire. Durability-wise, Black Bow was unmoved by an explosion that happened a few feet in front of him, an explosion that sent several cars nearby in that same vicinity, flying into the air. It said that with the help of Anu, he has a healing factor as well. So, the man who communes with the ancients, the practitioner of Anu, Nickel City's symbol of hope, Black Bow, rises.
Nice.
All right. So, reintroduction to Black Bow. You actually had somebody challenge you while you weren't here. It was actually the Delta Dogs. Vondell chose you that day. Yeah, so we kind of dove into that and what have you. But what I want to do in just a moment is have you tell us who you want to go against in an Indie versus matchup. But before we do that, again, there are some characters that you didn't have an opportunity to see. So what we're going to do is we're going to play two videos, Deja Vu and the characters from Scrap. So we'll go ahead and start with Deja Vu.
A battle with a private military group hell-bent on stealing his tech, Malcolm Crown must become the hero known as Deja Vu. Deja Vu has trained for years and at peak human levels of strength with the help of his suit, increasing his strength several times. His training over the years consisted of a mix of wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and boxing. Deja Vu was able to take on several highly skilled opponents at the same time, even proving to be a formidable fighter, taking down highly trained assassins without his suit on. Deja Vu has precognition abilities, allowing him to see things before they happen. With the help of his suit, he is able to manipulate probabilities to allow him to increase the likelihood of favorable outcomes. At one point, Deja Vu turned off the tech connected to his eyes and ears, leaving him only with his precognition to defeat an opponent who was using technology to cause vertigo. Deja Vu's suit enhances his durability, allowing him to withstand significant damage. The upper limits we have yet to see.
Okay, and then one more after this, but that's heavy. That's heavy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
one more,
that
one more video, and then we'll hear who you want to go against in this Indie versus matchup.
Okay.
And Zakaya, two martial artists with 20 years of training between the two of them and have achieved the ultimate state of martial arts. Shannon possesses a hybrid martial arts style that combines karate and jiu-jitsu. In addition to her proficiency in these martial arts, she has an ability known as the formless state. The formless state is a state that gives Shannon enhanced strength and speed. However, the use of the formless state comes with a drawback, as it burns her body out during the process. Now, while in this state, her body also becomes more durable, but the retention of abilities and experiences from this state is limited once she exits it. Zakaya, unlike Shannon, utilizes weapons like poison claws, knives, and darts. She's more likely to kill her opponent in battle, and she is also able to tap into the formless state that enhances her strength and speed, allowing her to become more durable. For these two to enter the formless state, one of the things that needs to happen is in their mind space, if you would, they take on what's known as the goddess of martial arts, and through that they unlock the formless state. Now, in regards to the skills that they learn, they're able to instinctively face off against opponents, learn their styles, and retain those styles for a time. So, with Shannon knowing karate and jiu-jitsu, if she takes on, say, a taekwondo martial artist, or someone that's utilizing capoeira, she is able to mimic this within the formless state and react to it as well. Think of it as an Ultra Instinct-esque move. And again, Shannon and Zakaya can both utilize this form. All right, let us know who you think can.
So heavy. So some of these characters are like you wouldn't expect that.
Is
But
a
yeah,
warrior.
Oh, my bad. We're gonna save that one because she said that she's still on the way. So when she gets here, possibly we'll go ahead and run that one.
Right.
But yeah, so those are two more of the characters there. Yeah. So who are you thinking about?
Man,
From what you've seen so far.
and because I've only seen those two, I only had the the options of choosing between those two characters, those
Oh
two
no.
IPs.
So everybody from last week as well is Jaywin just popped up. Let's go ahead and have her come on and introduce herself. But yeah, everybody from Tuesday, and of course the two from today. And actually, we're gonna go ahead and play the third one here in just a second. If you don't mind, go ahead and introduce yourself, the your company, and the comic book. The comic book and the character that you're bringing to the Indie versus matchup.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Jay Wynn with Ruling Hand, and my character is Zyla from Gehenna Imperium.
And so we've got a video for Zyla. Let's go ahead and run that video, and then we're gonna figure out who Black Belt wants to go against an Indie versus matchup, and then we'll have you prepared to ask the same question and have you let us know who you want to go against in an Indie versus matchup. Of course, we'll keep it to season 1, the 10 characters that's in there, and then we'll move forward right after this video.
Gehenna, a woman fueled by revenge, one who won't even let death slow her down. Zyla is trained in the art of Tekyon, and because of this training, has heightened senses, being able to sense an invisible demon and able to avoid and counter its attacks. Zyla also has the ability to absorb the powers of her previously defeated opponents to enhance her own abilities. Zyla, while alive, had the stamina and the skill to take on a group of armed men. Zyla is also durable enough to shrug off several attacks from several demons in Gehenna. So woe to those who would stand in the way of her resurrection, the woman who faces the trials of hell and vows to leave it in shambles to attain her resurrection. All right, let us know who you think.
So like Tekyon feels like we got a lot of Ultra Instinct folks here. Jamal, so good luck on who you choose, because just as a reminder, the options you've got, and this goes for you as well, Jay. You have the Delta Dogs. You've got I almost said Black Bow, but that well for you, Jay, would be Black Bow. Of course, Zyla for you, Jamal. Then we've got Homeless Homeboy. We got All Star Ronnie's up there. Acolyte, Absolver, Shannon and Zakaya that we saw from Scrap, and I feel like I'm missing somebody.
Well, there was
the
Paladins.
And Deja Vu.
You have the Paladins.
And the Paladins. That's what I missed. The Paladins. So yeah, y'all have some tough choices, but I am curious to know. We'll start with Jamal. He's had a little bit more time to think about it. Who do you
Yeah,
think Black Bo is taking on in an indie versus matchup?
man. Out of all of those characters, wow. Man, I'm not. Wow. Said the Delta Dogs. Yeah, I remember those guys. Because like you said, they're teenagers. I, I'm thinking more of like because they squad right, and they're definitely
Yeah.
like. I mean, that's no fair ones right there. So I mean, I'm going to
701, right?
right, right, like dang, like I'm automatically like if they, it depends on like everything, but like, oh man, as far as like, dude, Deja Vu was interesting. I would
Uh-huh.
love
Mhm.
at the base level to scrap with him, no powers, straight,
It's
no hero suit, hand to hand in the middle of nowhere, like straight up combat. Because I like that. Even the two sisters
From
from
scrap?
Scrap, and I like that. And then your character from Gehenna, like, her
Yeah.
training and Black Bolt's training are similar with years of martial arts training because before he gets the level of training that he receives when he's lost from his archaeological expedition, that goes more martial. But from the age of 8 he was boxing, so then using those skills and hands to learning like ancient martial arts is something that would definitely like, man, man, that this is too good. Oh man. Oh man, it's just like not even no powers, just the martial arts side is crazy alone. Like you got those cosmic guys like you, Ronnie. I know people talk about All Star versus Acolyte, so it's crazy, right? But man, uh, yeah, I'll shoot the fade with Deja Vu, bro. I'll
Deja Vu?
definitely shoot the fade with him, bro. Like hand to
Okay.
hand, like and
So
see what those that suit can do for him. He can have the suit. I'll go, no power, straight hands.
sake.
Oh,
okay. So we'll bet out a scenario really quick. My go-to, because a lot of these heroes, or at least what we've seen so far with like Deja Vu, if I'm not mistaken, they're not really like going for the kill immediately, right? And so
okay.
if not going to spoil his story, but we have some people of some decent caliber coming after them, right? So what I want to say in regards to this scenario, Black Bull's handling business just happens to come along in that city, right? But some of the tactics seem familiar to the threat that they face in their series, right? So they mistake you for a threat to them.
Okay.
Deja Vu's coming at Black Bow. You're handling business, say you're hunting down some kind of villain or what have you. All of a sudden, Deja Vu runs up on Black Bow, and now it's time to scrap. What is Black Bow's first move running into Deja Vu? Again, random encounter, nobody has prior knowledge on the other one.
Mm.
What is
So
what is
he's
your
got
first move Deja Vu pulls up on you?
so basically off of what you said, he has precognitive sort of like um precognitive abilities, right?
Yeah.
So in my mind I'm thinking like what's that from One Piece, that form of hockey where they can like see the stuff coming whatever. The name is escaping me right now, but
Mhm.
if I had to fight something like that, he would probably start off with his tech first, like smoke arrows, stuff like that, to maybe try to discombobulate him, right?
Okay.
To throw the fences off a little bit, and keep it long range. Since
Okay.
Mhm.
right,
Smart move.
and depending on whatever gadgets or abilities that his suit is able to do, maybe like I said, Black Bull's like the arsenal just as tech with his arrows alone should have some capabilities to be able to disable certain technology. Um, whether it's any of his vehicles that rely on electromagnetics or whatever like that. Like I said, we got EMP arrows, grenade arrows, smoke arrows.
Which
You
right
EMP.
there, EMP, which he wasn't available tonight, but that was a question I was going to have for him. Does his suit um would his suit be affected by EMPs, right? Because the moment you utilize that, you take away some of the perks of the suit. Now, granted, he still has his inherent precog abilities, but again, that puts him in extreme disadvantage not being able to use that kind of power set. I'm
Right.
personally glad that you picked Deja Vu because one of the things, in regards to that character, again, from the Black Bolt breakdown, Black Bolt was standing next to an explosion and didn't move. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he didn't get blown back by the explosion. There's no cuts and bruises. He wasn't phased by it. And so, obviously I would have asked Jairi about this, but it's just like, is there anything in Deja Vu's arsenal to even be able to move Black Bolt, right? Let's get to the hand to hand. Is he letting off any type of output that's comparable to that explosion to be able to push him back in the first place? I personally don't think so. But let's say, do you think Deja Vu would even get the chance to get in close range based on Black Bolt's archery skills alone?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what type of long range tactics he has. So based on that knowledge and knowing that he has some type of now, does the precog is he's not superhuman? You said right that his
No, by no
ability comes
means.
from the suit. But oh wow.
No, he
So
does have precog, yes,
Mhm.
he does, but he also has the suit that enhances his durability and strength and whatnot. So when he was
okay.
fighting in his issue 0, he was fighting a character, and she was basically causing vertigo, and it was throwing him off. And so when he cut off his visor, his eyes are gone. He cut off the equipment on his ears, no nothing, and was able to essentially, again, Ultra Instinct, that kind of navigate that fight, right? But again, cool, you're circumventing the vertigo, but now let's say you're getting into a fist fight versus Black Bow with let's say they're even ground, right? You tapped into a new. What kind of output? He's not letting off those kind of strikes. At least in issue 0 and issue 1, he's not letting off
Right.
those type of strikes. And again, I wish he was here to kind of defend it, but at the moment, between issue 0 and issue 1, I don't see him being able to come out on top in that fight.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, based on yeah, I'm like I would definitely gauge the situation if in that circumstance. I know we keep it at a distance. Black Bolt keep it at a distance. Use every arsenal that he has in his tech. With his tech first. Poison arrows. Acidic arrows. All type of ridiculous. Things.
Now, is there a range to the precognition?
We've only seen him really utilize it. So the battle was taking place. They were already doing hand to hand, and they were right here in the same vicinity, right? So we haven't seen him utilize it in, like, let's say somebody was sniping, right? And he saw it and was able to get at it. We haven't seen that yet.
Because I was gonna say, like, you're Black Bolt, right? So if you were doing like Fate Night Stay, where Archer could go like halfway past the city. He may not see your arrows come at him. So just a thought, throwing that out there. So how far, that's why I was asking, how far can you perceive on that? What's up? You look like you want to say something.
I was gonna say, and doesn't a new give him like a level of strength too? Like that strength, like say if he hits him with the EMP arrow, his suit Deja Vu is not gonna be as strong as Black Bolt, because Black Bolt still has a new to give him that extra edge in terms of strength.
Right.
So I mean, he does have the precognition, but that can only last so long. He can only avoid attacks for so long until that's
now
straight.
with Black Bolt though, everybody is kind of like playing down on Black Bolt as how does he regenerate the arrows, or is it like a power?
At this point, no. Like I said, as the story progresses, he'll gain more abilities to be. I feel like you're asking like kind of like materializing arrows out of like energy or
right.
At a certain point, he will be able to do that. Some of the images that he showed right now, they're regular arrows. They can be encased in energy to make them more damaging, to send them farther, to make more of an impact. So if I felt like as Black Bolt, if he felt threatened, then he might do that as like a final, like, okay, that's like a fatal, something that would be fatal. So like okay, let's maybe try to clip this armor off him or see if he can withstand this. And then if he did by any means, then we go in for the hand-to-hand combat and see what he's working with. But yeah, based on what you're saying, I was I didn't know if he was like had any extra feats like any type of superhuman ability to his regular person. So I probably if I did, you know, if they were in midst of battle and like Black Bolt uses like Anu with like a strike, it probably would kill him. Because if he can like break through solid objects, brick, stone, you
The suit
know,
is nothing. Yeah.
Okay.
that's interesting though. That's interesting.
I was gonna ask if
Um,
they're killers too. Like, do they when they fight their opponents, are they like
Do they fight fair or do they fight to win?
So
Hmm.
everybody is in
Mhm.
character. And from what I've seen in issue 0 and 1, they're not necessarily like, hey, first response is to kill the opponent.
Mm.
Now, they were attacked in issue 1 by a group, and I'm pretty sure his wife shot somebody, but like they were just fisticuffs at first. You know what I'm saying?
Side effect. It
Um,
happens.
yeah, she was not playing. But like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's fisticuffs all the way. He didn't have his suit on, which was an impressive feat, right? Like he's been training for some years as well. But in character, his first move isn't to go for the kill. Whereas the first thing we saw Black Belt do in issue 1, I mean, those arrows in issue 1 of Black Belt was no joke. So if you're talking about you using EMP to knock out the effectiveness of the suit and then just hit him with a standard arrow
Mhm.
at that point, he gonna look like those guys in issue 1. That's all I'm gonna say. So like that's
Oh man.
eh.
Oh
and
man,
the
that's
arrows
cool.
explode too?
Absolver
So
says Jamel
Yeah.
says that he thinks it's a good fight. I feel it's more of a tie. You are free to join if you would like to, Jamel, to kind of elaborate on that. Of course, Jamel Leslie is the creator of Absolver. He's with Concrete Comics. He may have slightly more insight. Obviously, they're all under the same umbrella.
Oh,
But yeah, and Lonzo, of course, as well, since he's he runs the whole thing. But yeah, if either of y'all want to come in and kind of elaborate on Deja Vu, please do, because as it stands now, personally, I'm looking down at my other phone. I apologize. At the moment, I'm leaning towards Black Bull winning that fight, because even if you have precog, I think about it almost like Sharingan, right, where they're able to
Mhm.
somewhat kind of peep the
oh
move.
yeah.
But if you're fast enough, it doesn't matter, right? They
Yeah.
can attempt to block, they can assume it's about to come and prepare as best as they can. But if it's too strong, if they're too fast, it only gets them so far.
like Spider-Man
Um,
and the Flash,
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
yeah, if they're coming at you light speed, it's only you can't dodge. Like it's only so much. I see what you mean. Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. And there was no character or nothing that was coming at them faster than the speed of bullets, which we saw Black Bolt see the bullet after it leaves, perceived it, saw it, ran towards the trajectory of the bullets and deflected
Right.
it. Oop, hit something. Deflected it in time without getting anybody hit. So like nobody was moving that faster or at all. So I'm just like, Black Bolt reaction, Black Bolt movement speed, and attack speed kind of trumps everything that we've seen Deja Vu even attempt to take on at this point in the story. So not saying, of course, later on he's not gonna get to that point, but if we start talking about later issues and we gotta start including you in
Well,
later issues, like that's we can only use what
and
we
that's
got.
why I chose. That's why I kind of favor choice because at right now, me not knowing anything about the character's power set or anything, he looked just from what I've seen like okay, he looks like he has some ability that
Mm-hmm.
will rival me. So that's why I chose him over like say like well, any of the regular heroes that are like kind of base combat level. Like he actually looked like definitely pose a serious threat. So.
Fair enough. Does anybody have any questions for Jamal in regards to Black Bow? And now, of course, I can answer any questions in regards to Deja Vu as far as I know based on issue 0 1 and the conversation that I had with Jairi. But if there's no other questions in regards to it, we can go ahead and move over to Jay. But we'll give a
Okay.
couple moments.
I'm good.
I'm good. Yeah.
Okay.
I pretty much already asked the questions about, the ability to recreate the bows. And
Okay.
I'm like him. I initially chose Deja Vu, but honestly, I would choose any of the characters that actually they started out as regular people. So
Okay.
I would not challenge, I believe it's Absolver and Acolyte, because they are born with these supernatural powers. Like
Yeah.
that's like Batman versus Superman. You know, Superman is born with it. They just honed
Yeah.
it in.
Uh-uh.
Deja Vu was a character that he's like you and me. Like he started out, he trained, he conditioned himself. So that's why, like here right now, I'm just like, look, if I lose, fine. You know what? Me and Zyla gonna sit down and we're gonna talk this out on how to defeat the next one. So I'm like, come on, you know. So
Yo,
I'll
man, man, look, man, we gonna have to plot on some of them boys, man. Like, yo,
right.
we gonna get
You got the
together. We gonna get,
EMP,
cause you
right?
know,
We're
we
gonna blow
cool.
them out first.
We cool with All Star, bro, and we gonna catch Absorber and Acolyte. We gonna catch the big bad boy. We
Right,
gonna catch them sleeping. We
right.
go,
We're gonna send them thinking
man.
one way and we're gonna come at them stage right. So that's what we're gonna do. So
No,
forget those boys with that 7. We got it right here. We're gonna tag team.
Wait,
yo, for
what
real,
are the
we
minutes? I got
go.
blacked out for a second.
What is it? We gonna write. We gonna be like Batman. We gonna get some prep time on them. And we gonna take them big boys down, bro.
We got it. We were the Avengers, man. We're gonna unite on this. And we're gonna
Yo,
take
for
them down.
real.
We'll
Somebody
turn
get some
around Black
Absolver?
Bo and Zyla versus Shannon and Zakaya at this point.
Oh, okay. That would be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool. Well, let's
I
talk
like
about.
the
Well, first,
big boys.
let's get your one-on-one, and then let's speculate on those two. Absolver
Okay.
says that he'll jump in about 20 minutes if we're still there. So Jay, what's your one? And then following that, we'll speculate on this potential
Tag
Black Bo
team.
Zyla team up.
Well, yeah, like I was saying, I initially was all for challenging myself with Deja Vu.
Okay.
Yes, he has the suit, but then again, Zyla has death. Zyla's already dead.
Right.
So that's why, I figured, there's some durability there, because especially if the arena is in Mortal World, she has durability.
Yeah, didn't she just from the clip? She fought that thing was like the size of the Hulk. That
Right,
demon, like
right. And he's
so.
a brawler.
If she's taking punches from that thing, like
Oh yeah,
yo,
now that's in episode 5 where she tricks him because he has some other abilities too. But yeah, he is a brawler of the character. I mean, in the series.
right, and so dealing with something like that, I'm already assuming you're superhuman. Like,
But she was human though, so and that's why, because she was born human. Okay, so she decided to take on or study. She studied martial arts, and then going in her revenge, she is fatally wounded. So she wasn't invulnerable. So she did die, and then she woke up in hell. So
wow,
now she's building all of that. And I'm gonna say she's gonna initiate the fight. She's not a hero. So you know what? Innocent bystanders, you better learn to get out the way.
That's cool.
You see some fight going down,
oh,
but
that's cold.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cold, bro.
she's not going for your
That's
head.
cold.
You gotta
Get
keep
him
your
out the
own
game.
head. I'm just saying,
Get him out
you
the game.
see
You
some
know what?
people fighting. You need to move.
Yo, you know what? Black Bo will rock with her because at the end of the day, he's kind of dark himself. He can get to those points. Like he's innocent bystander sometimes, but it's like he'll kill you. So it's like,
But if you're in the way, she has a target. But if you're in the way, oops.
oh man, yeah, that's cold blooded. That's cold blooded, man.
So that's why it's like Deja Vu, and I would say she would initiate it because an energy like Deja Vu, she will be satiated for quite some time. It's like Thanksgiving dinner. She will be okay for quite a while that she doesn't have to kill, because in Gehenna, you have to initiate killing someone to stay relevant. Because Gehenna is not just hell, it's like the limbo world. So you can get killed in Gehenna and actually go to hell, which is like a final place where you can't return to. So she has to actually be on the offense to stay relevant. So she would initiate it. She will jump into it, because if she wins that fight, the energy that she would get from him, man, she'll be good and don't have to kill for a while.
Wow.
That's heavy.
And get all
That's
of his
heavy.
skills.
It's dark and it's deep. And I love it, man. crazy. Wow. So like
Now,
this. Oh man, I don't even. Yeah, damn. I got it, man. See, I got man. Yo, Lloyd, you be finding man some. Yo, this is crazy, bro. Like I got some reading. I got some reading to do, man. I got to. Yeah. Tap in. That's
listen.
fine.
We met Jay at Atlanta Comic Con. Matter of
Yeah.
fact, she was at Atlanta Comic Con 2021.
Yep.
Oh, where I
That's
met you
when I
guys.
met
Yes.
Concrete. I met Lonzo. I met you guys. Brian Silverbacks. Like that was the crew. That was like that was the crew right there. And still in touch with everybody, getting points from everyone and every. Oh man, that was a good connect that day.
Yes, for sure. And funny enough, yeah, that's where we met Jamal. Right, he came up to the table like, I'm trying to do this.
Oh
This is what
really?
I'm trying to
From
do.
Atlanta
Yes.
Comic Con.
Yeah.
Wow, missed you
Yep.
there.
So, but Absolver chimed in just now and said, Black Bow sounds scared. I can't beat her, so I'll join. He uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
He's
So
trying
what?
to show seeds of dissension between Black Bow and Zyla.
Oh man.
Hypothetically, before we get into the team thing, I'm a natural instigator. Before we jump into a team up, who would come out on top between Black Bow and Zyla?
Oh snap!
Oh man. Oh man. That's crazy.
You know,
I don't want to go to hell. So I like,
you don't have to go to hell, but she lives there. She resides there. So she got to make sure she's good. Her house is good.
yeah, that's dark, man. So like, does she come? Can she come between that place and the mortal world, like physical realm?
She's only been sent in a whole nother episode. She's been resent to the mortal world. It's not like she frequents the mortal world.
Okay.
What did she get sent for? Well, is that spoiler?
Well,
That's
yeah, okay. Well, she was sent on a mission from death herself. From another, I did a crossover with Brian Silverback. So I borrowed his world, and his character is Kerr, who is Death. So Death commissioned Zyla back to the mortal world. So she's got to be sent back. She can't just like, okay, I'm heading over today. You know, I'm heading over for the weekend. So no, she can't do that on her own.
Right.
Okay. Does she take explosions? Like say if Black Bolt hit her with like an explosive arrow. I know she's fought the I guess the demons in that particular limbo. So I don't know in terms of force, how much can she take in terms of durability?
Good question.
She will be hit. She will be hit, and she might even be winded, but it won't like take her out. You can almost say she can almost regenerate herself, especially being in the mortal world. She can regenerate, so it won't take her out. It might hurt. It might, like I said, she'll be winded. She'll be catching her breath for a little bit, but she'll get back in the game.
So I kind of think about when you said that, if I'm going to use a popular reference of Dragon Ball Z with Piccolo when he's able to regenerate his arm in the Raditz arc, and it was just like, hey, I'm good, but like, oh, I am fatigued. We say like kind of that level of fatigue, like, hey,
right.
That's it.
Just give her a minute. Let her catch her breath. Whew, let her catch her breath, and she'll be back in.
Ooh. And we're talking about surviving an explosion and able to regenerate from that. That's
different from
intense.
Standing next to an explosion,
right,
and getting hit by one.
Now, Jamal, is Black Bow hitting at the same level as his arrows essentially when he's powered by a new?
It's based on like I told you about like the duration or the length of time that he's been meditating prior to. So if he's so man, Max, like, oh man, the levels it can get to is kind of ridiculous. Like I can't even talk about that because it's spoiling. But I mean, kind of. Oh man, how can I put this like in a reference that like say he's like I'm like in a skill wise that you can you can see at where he is in issue 1. Think like man, okay. I'm trying to reference it with like a show that's like out that you guys would know that you can that you can kind of
meditate. You said meditation in regards to that, so I immediately think Sage Mode from Naruto.
Mm-hmm.
How when he does the meditation, and then he has those 3 clones set aside. He does his meditation. Whenever he snaps that shadow clone, he's back in the sage mode joint. So you're saying he has to be in it for X amount of time in order to activate that, right? Does he
Right.
get stronger the longer he's in a meditative state?
Mhm. Yeah, right. Yeah, being able to activate the powers of Anu for
Oh,
a
I see.
longer amount of time.
Mm.
Okay.
Right. So, I mean, it can get to the point where he doesn't have access to the abilities, and he's basically normal. But even in that
Mm,
state, he's like he would be at the level right now. He's probably a little bit above or around a level of like in his normal state without Anu at all. Probably around the physicality of like Captain America. I want to
okay.
say. So he's about like right there.
So
Now, if
Captain
he
America level of strength.
speed,
Jay. Oh, I mean, go ahead. I'm sorry.
now yeah, like I would say like around between like Captain America and like because like how I judge it, I would say like between like Captain America and like right before like Wonder Woman type of level like ability. So if you're like so anywhere between the like top physical level before you're talking about superhuman, and that's without any powers or anything like that. That's that's regular without anything. So
Hmm.
if he was to encase his strikes in Anu, so you're talking about like being able to punch through like brick walls and stuff like that. I want to say
Hmm.
like with his bare hands. So I mean that's the type of power we're talking about in just his strikes.
Okay. Next question I got is for Jay. We've seen we talked briefly about Black Bow's speed, right? He's reacting and perceiving bullets, getting in the way and blocking it. They're already mid shot, and he's running fast enough to do that. What is Xyla's kind of counter to those levels of reactionary speed?
Well, I don't. She can't travel at the speed of light or faster. I'll tell you that for sure. It would be more like if she can't anticipate it, she would probably just receive it.
Okay.
She will probably very likely just go ahead, receive it, just take it. Can't move it, can't avoid it. Come on,
Mm.
and then patch it up.
Okay. So
Yeah,
kind
that's
of I'm
regeneration is a
reminded of your
problem.
issue one when you say that. I'm reminded of the issue one where like it's like, all right, I'm gonna let you hit me, and then I'm going to counter you right
Mm-hmm.
in that moment. So that's kind
Right.
of okay.
That's pretty smart.
That is smart. Okay, Black Bolt, really quick question then, and then we'll move to the team up thing. You're moving as fast as you can. You're going for that attack. She grabs you and is getting ready to counter. She's got your arm. You went for the punch. She's got your arm. What is Black Bolt going to do? What's his reaction?
Oh
No,
man,
she's not
straight.
gonna just get your arm. She's gonna throw you down. She's
She's
gonna
gonna throw
stop
you
you.
down. Now
Oh,
what?
man.
We ain't stopping and just grabbing your arm, so you better be ready.
Oh, word.
Is Black
Man,
Bolt flustered? Is he grabbing at his bow? Where is his bow? What's he doing next?
man, he might, if it's now it's close quarters. So I mean, if his bow's not in his hand, might do some, in close
Yep.
quarter combat, quick stuff, man, hand to hand,
You better
you
use
know.
that bow to stab back, because she's gonna use that bow to strangle you.
Damn.
Yeah,
Okay.
we got like so his martial arts style that he practices. It's the basic primal instincts of like survival. So like in close Wing Chun, like all it like the most primal sources of ending a fight as quickly as possible.
Right.
So yeah, I mean we're gonna be brought. We definitely gonna be brought. We just gonna see where it's at. Like if the fight was engaged and it's like maybe like I don't want to say like a spar, but like if it was a spar, like
Right.
we're not gonna be. He's not fighting for death. Obviously, he's not fighting to land a fatal blow. But like in a sense, if it was that way, then yeah, we pulling out all the stops like right there, like you know,
Mm-hmm.
you grab my arm,
I'm just letting you know that.
know,
Tekion, for example. Oh, you need to knee. You want to talk about close quarters? Fighting is knee to knee. So that's how close you got to be. You got to get
we talk about like the
that
knife
tango.
death edge match in Yu Yu Hakusho, like brawl for brawl. We right there
Yes.
with it.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
let's
Right.
go.
Right.
Man.
What are the limitations for like the healing factors? Because I know they both have healing
Yeah.
factors.
Well, I haven't tested her healing factors because, like I say, she will take that blow. She will be winded, so she's not. It's not going to deflect off of her. She's going to feel it. She might have to take a couple of aspirins, immediately after the fight. But
hold on 1 second, y'all. I gotta
Okay.
my guess is turnaround. I mean, it depends because she's going to push through it. If her opponent is coming at her and is going to try to end her life, she's going to fight through it.
Okay.
Now, if she has a moment to relax, now maybe she'll feel that pain. She'll be like, "Oh, right," and back off and go find a hole somewhere to hole up in.
I have a kind of follow-up question, not necessarily in regards to the healing factor, but in regards to being able to. We saw her being able to kind of sense and counter that invisible demon. Would you be able to sense the energies? Like obviously he's usually not new, but would she be able to sense kind of this foreign energy kind of
Yes.
exuding from him? Yes.
Yes.
So take a conversation.
She may not know exactly what it is, but she will feel that energy. It's like the spidey senses will start going off. And that's basically, how it is. She can't tell that, okay, that's the Shadow King from this realm. She just knows that there's an entity behind her or where he's coming from. So she goes ahead and she follows her senses and she goes ahead and she kicks out or she does what she has to. And, chances are they'll land, but she senses it.
Okay. So, now this kind of goes back to our reactionary kind of speed question, stuff like that. So hypothetically, Black Bolt fires an arrow at you or at Zyla. Is she going to be able to get out of the way in time, or is it kind of like I'm going to tank this hit? I'm thinking again, if I'm using mainstream, Neji taking an arrow in order to get a hold of the enemy he was fighting. Talk about part 1 Naruto, and uses a trigrams on him. Is she willing to take that initial hit?
I'm not gonna lie, it depends on which arrow he's shooting at her. Because certain arrows she might even try to at least catch it or deflect it.
Okay.
Like if he's like Archer, like way far apart away, she may not see it until it's already on her.
Yeah.
If he's not too far away, she might just try to deflect it, or like I told him in a brawl, she might try to catch it so that she could throw it back at him, or strangle him with it, or stab him with it. She uses it as her own weapon.
I like that.
She has a hands on hands, but she knows how to train with a weapon.
Ooh, that's if Black Bolt gets hit with his own arrow, or like
how is it affected? Does it affect him, or is he immune to his own?
That's a good question.
Good question.
What you mean by they would have to take it off and stab me with it or something?
Wait a minute, I thought you were out. I thought you were gone.
Oh no, I'm still here.
But that's a good question. I don't know if she can catch it. If she can catch it, in the attempt that she's trying to catch it, it slips through, or it actually pierces her hand type of deal, lodges in her shoulder. Then that's why I say she'll take that hit.
Yeah.
She'll take the chance to, let's say, catch it.
That's interesting though to see how she would do against an arrow encased with like solar energy. How would she deal with that? Like that's interesting.
That's why I say depending on which arrow is fired, because Black Bolt, that I understand, has different kinds of arrows.
Right.
Now, it's interesting that you bring that up because correct me if I'm wrong. In issue 1, in Black Bolt, one of the guys did pick up the arrow and wasn't affected by it. And now eventually, it did blow up. Now, is that a timed thing, or does Black Bolt control what happens with the arrow? Is it something that happens on impact? Is it a time thing that just depends on what Black Bolt decides to do?
So I remember I told you. Hold on one second. All right, can you still hear me clearly?
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So that arrow, the artist, and see that, and this is why you gotta be so careful with this canon stuff with comics, because I mean you really have to have a good rapport, like just a good connection with your artist, because like sometimes they'll draw things that I'm like, yo, bro, like that arrow was supposed to be a time detonator arrow, and I guess from whatever way he drew it, like just the angle he drew it didn't look at it like
I agree with that one.
yeah, like that was like a detonator. So
Okay.
yeah, that one. I mean, obviously, if she was actually be able to catch that and pick it up, whatever, she just toss the shit right before it explodes. Obviously, that dude was like, what the hell? You know, the shot caught him off guard. Like the arrow like whips past his ear, and then he picks it up, and then there was a time detonator and blows up in his face. So
you can
That's
rebound fast enough.
Got took out.
Yeah.
So
it
to
was
go
all
back
this
to the
hurt.
question that Ronnie asked in regards to healing factors, Black Bow, what is his healing factor? What's kind of the rate of regeneration, if any?
Okay, so like as of now, like the regeneration base is based off of his like I said, his ability to meditate on the healing core of Anu. And so yeah, like as far as limbs, unless it's some type of biotech that was like, you know, because they have like in that world they have like technology that can replace limbs and stuff like that in that universe. But as of like now, like if he loses a limb or something like that, he just ain't got no limb. Like his regenerative factors can heal it can heal wounds as far as like deep wounds, scars, stuff like that.
Okay.
But amputation, not so much.
Or anything like that. Like, yeah, not like regrowing whole limbs or a head or anything like that. Like it's, you know.
Okay.
If his heart or brain is too badly damaged, it's over.
Noted. So kind of, I don't know if I made this comparison in our creator breakdown, but more like a Deathstroke style healing factor is what I'm gathering.
Right.
Okay. Now, here we go. Ronnie, you got any other questions for them? I think before we dive into Zyla and Black Bow versus Shannon and Zakaya team up match.
I had one, but I think I lost it. But
yeah,
it'll come back to me later.
Okay, so
I just want to add one thing into that. Like I said, he has a I told you before, Lloyd. Like there are practitioners that spend their whole life mastering one core of Anu. So now there are people or beings, because it's not just humans that practice Anu. It's a universal concept. So you know, it was actually given to the people that taught Black Bow by an ancient alien race civilization. So that if a practitioner is powerful in that and has been practicing his whole life, they probably could regenerate limbs and, you know, pretty close to maybe bringing people back from the dead, on the brink of death. I'll say, not bringing people back from the dead, but you know, at that point, depending on how powerful you were, you could probably regenerate limbs and things like of that nature and stuff like that. But it would take some time. It's not like, you know, I don't think it would be right in the midst of battle though.
Okay.
I was gonna ask, but
go ahead.
I was gonna ask. So in terms of the meditation and the healing, he, like you just said, he can't do it in the midst of battle. So say he gets hurt fighting Zyla, right?
Yeah.
So if he gets hurt fighting Zyla, then it's like he would have to find somewhere to recover. It's not like an immediate healing factor.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. Like things will change over time. Like at the point in the story right now, he's just merely above human. But he is, I would consider him, you know, right on the cusp of superhuman. But he's not like immortal or anything like that. He can be hurt if the adversary is definitely powerful enough. Like, you know. So.
Okay. Really quick, because I can't trust technology at points. I know Instagram has that hour mark. We were good last time around, but just in case, go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you, and then we'll go ahead and pick up with the next portion. But we'll start with Jamal, we'll go with Jay, then you, Ronnie, and then I'll finish off, and then we'll dive into the next match.
Okay. So, well, I guess I'll just tell. So you just find me at Black Bow Comics on IG and Facebook. and YouTube.
Outstanding.
Same. Ruling Hand on Instagram. The Ruling Hand on Facebook.
Okay. It's Ronnie Creates. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, but it's Ronnie Creates, RONNY Creates. I'm also on Instagram with my comic book company is Radical Comics. Radical Comics with a K. So it's Radical and Comics K. But you can find me out there. So yeah.
Of course, I'm Lloyd Jones with Midnight Comics, one half of Midnight Comics, if you would. We are Midnight X Comics everywhere except for Facebook and YouTube, where you can find this is just Midnight Comics. So far, right now, this has been Indie versus the Creator Clash, the second phase of what was called Indie Breakdown. Again, where we break down your favorite indie comic book characters' power, stats, and abilities, and get them ready for this phase, the Indie versus matchup. Later on, we're still talking about the matchups that the creators want to see, but what we do is we're going to utilize a randomizer wheel. So we're getting set up for that part. We already have the matchup, which will be revealed later. But next time around, we'll do the randomizer wheel live. But the official matchup is going to be coming a little bit later. Right now, though, we're going to dive into this potential Black Bow and Zyla versus Shannon and Zakaya. So if I were to dive into Shannon and Zakaya really quick for the two of you, of course, we had the video just now. We said that they have 20 years of experience between the two of them. They only got 10 years of training, which is no small feat, don't get me wrong. They're 19 years old, 19, 20 years old, respectively, if I'm not mistaken. And they have been, again, karate, very traditional jiu-jitsu and all of that for Shannon. And Zakaya has been definitely doing it a little bit longer and is more prone to go for the kill against her opponent. She's definitely been in some more strenuous situations, if you would. So we have the two of them against your two characters. Now, ordinarily, I would probably give it to y'all's two characters. But the thing that I'm concerned about in a battle against you two is that formless state, right? In order to activate it, in order to attain that state, they have to kind of internally battle the goddess of martial arts to do that. But utilizing it, there is a time limit. I want to know, with this in mind, and they can mimic your moves, right? So Ultra Instinct mixed with a Sharingan, they're mimicking your moves, they know your style, limited time. Varies each time because again it burns the body out. But what is Black Bow and Zyla going to do in the face of this? No, it's not their first move, right? It's going to be a fisticuffs in the beginning. So we'll say everybody's elevate kind of even fisticuffs. You pick which one you want to go against. But what is y'all's first move against these teenagers, right? And what happens when they enter the formless state? What is Zyla thinking? What is Black Bow thinking when diving into this matchup?
Okay.
It was a lot. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I'm like, yo, let's rush these characters real fast. We're gonna rush them. Like, man, straight up, like we not gonna let these little girls one up us, bro. Like,
right. I'm gonna let you go ahead first, so that you can get the arrows in. We're gonna go ahead and just send them a message really quick. And from a distance, then following right behind you, fire off one of those arrows, your arrow of your choice, because you about their powers. You might want to do the two ladies have I don't know what other skills other than martial arts. I thought one of them
uses poison darts and claws.
Ooh.
Okay, well that's close encounter. All right, what's the other one? Any of them have like some really like far out power?
No, just that formless state. Just that formless state.
All right. Do you have a numbing arrow? I'm gonna ask you that now.
Well, I got sleep. He got sleep arrows. He got knockout gas. All that. So, like, what will be interesting is, okay, depending on where they are, like we should rush them first because, like, here's my thinking. We should see I would rush them and just go, okay, we're gonna see what these little girls talk about. Let's see where this martial arts skills really at. We go into it. We can time or kind of predict or perceive them entering this formless state. Then we dip out and go for the distance. We just let some hand-to-hand combat. You tap into whatever extra spiritual abilities you got. I'm tapping into Anu. We're going full force, power punch and body blow. We're going to obliterate. And then if I see, we see them blacking out or going to, then, man, We
Well,
gonna jump
I
back like
say
50 feet. I'm gonna let off like 50 smoke arrows, and then we're gonna see where they at that point,
hey, now
man. We gonna
I don't
back
want
up
to
in
get
this.
knocked out either now. Okay, so we're gonna take out our biggest threat. So I think you said that there's one that's 20. So we're gonna knock her out first with one of those numbing arrows. And as you're shooting that arrow, I'm running in right behind her. So when she's like dusting off or doing whatever she is from the arrow, she's gonna receive a physical blow. Then you can come and
Nice.
follow. Just pound it right behind me with another one. I'll dip in and dip back out. Knowing that you're coming right behind me with another arrow, I'm gonna move out the way.
Gotcha. All right.
Then you follow me up. She already got a blow. You follow me up with another arrow. I'm out the way.
You know
I
what?
like.
Yo, even if we were to rush them and just go hand to hand combat off the rip,
Yes,
and
but you
they
gotta
and they
remember,
into
hand
this
to hand,
formless
they can
state.
comment. They can imitate you. They can pick up. So you don't want them to pick up on your skills just yet.
Don't want it to get too far ahead.
Yeah.
I
Right.
am so seeing like the reason why Zyla is there in the first place is because she's trying to steal the energy, absorb the energy of the goddess of martial arts.
Ooh, that
Like,
Oh,
you
that
know what
would
I'm
be
saying?
that would
Like
be yo.
crazy.
That's fire. That's
that's my
fire.
mindset. Yeah.
Dude,
Told you she
Okay,
was
already
almost
leads.
pretty in hell. She don't have to work hard.
That's
yo, if you absorb that power, that's definitely gonna scale your character like crazy. So
Mm-hmm.
so
mm,
with this former state is interesting because they can copy your moves, but they don't have the experience using your moves though. So
But that's
so
I
okay.
it
would
They can always add their own twist to it. If they think they have it down, they can take your power,
mhm.
add their own spin to almost make it look like it's their own power, but it's yours. So you
Yes.
don't want to go in there showing your physical skills. That's why I say go ahead and numb them so they can't even like really imitate it correctly. Numb them. You go in there with a blow and jump back out before they even see what's hitting. Then you follow it up with another arrow, not discombobulate them, jump back in before they see it come in, deal another blow to them, jump back out.
This is heavy.
Personally, that's my
I'll,
view.
yeah, that's heavy.
This is heavy.
Yeah. I
also
feel like
Unfortunately, there's no real argument against this tactic, right?
Right?
I'm thinking about what I've read in the story, but at the same time, they're young. They haven't really now Zakaya again, she's been in more kind of
In the
situations where
war.
it kind of requires her to kill. But like
Right.
Shannon is struggling with learning jujitsu really early in that state. Now she's done karate forever, right? So
Mm-hmm.
she's done that forever. So she's got that to fall back on. She's got the formless state, but it's not the first move that they're pulling out of their arsenal. They
Right.
would rely on techniques that they've learned throughout the years, stuff like that
And I
first.
don't want to underestimate them in their skills.
Right.
So
But I have no argument against that. If anybody in the chat has read the stories, Scrap, NPC Comics, Juice Lee, chime in. Let us know what you guys think in regards to Black Bolt versus Zyla. Black Bolt versus Zyla, Jesus. Black Bolt
that
and
goes
Zyla
Lila.
versus Shannon and Sakaya. There we go. And then I see, Concrete Comics is in the chat. We've got Absolver was in the chat. If y'all are free to jump in, I would like to hear more about Deja Vu because as it stands now, Black Bow and Zyla are dogging Deja Vu out, bro.
yeah.
That is he looked cool. He looked
Well,
cool.
you
That
know
suit is
what?
fire. But I haven't seen an
Include
argument.
Delta Dogs. Now, All American, I mean, since we've got you here, I forgot what his powers were.
Tosh, if you could play the video right quick, let's go ahead and get reintroduced to All Star.
Oh, All-Star. Yeah.
Yeah.
With the power of 1,000 stars, John Birmingham illuminates the night sky in the hearts of a world in need as All-Star. All-Star is connected to the Light Keeper. The Light Keeper is a celestial being that is the manifestation of light and is what granted All-Star his ability by placing a crystal into his nervous system. This being communicates with him, offering him guidance and has a strong sense of justice. All-Star can manipulate the fabric of stars throughout the galaxy, allowing him to harness energy from them. He possesses the ability to go supernova, emitting a controlled blast of energy that can be more powerful the nuclear bombs. All-Star can transition into a superhero form. This transformation occurs during critical moments such as protests or riots and indicates a connection between his powers and the need for intervention in challenging situations. The crystal connected to his nervous system enables him to regenerate. It reconstructs his amputated leg atom by atom, similar to process seen in characters like Dr. Manhattan. All right, let us know who you think can stand up to this.
Now, was he born with that? Or was
Born with the
that
crystal?
acquired? Yeah, like what skills did he have before acquiring the crystal?
So John, his real name is John. Before he became All-Star, he was a Marine, so he has that Marine combat training, hardened veteran.
Military training, yeah. Okay.
He's seen war. You know, he lost his leg. Even though before he gained his powers and got his leg back, he still has that training, that tactician mindset. So that's basically what he possesses besides just his superpowers. Like and with the crystal, he has super strength, flight, invulnerability, cosmic abilities from the crystal. The crystal.
Was he the one that could travel faster? Like he can travel the Milky Way in 2 minutes, or was that Acolyte?
That's Acolyte, but All-Star is pretty fast too. All-Star, he can travel just as fast as a shooting star. A shooting star can travel 2,000
light years or something like that.
Yeah. So it varies depending on the shooting stars and stuff like that. But his powers are literally just like cosmic. When stars go supernova, they are more powerful than nuclear bombs, and he's able to tap into all of the stars in the universe. So, but in the first book, he's only tapping into like maybe 1 or 2 stars. But the more that he uses his abilities, he finds that he has a connection to all of the stars. And so there's actually a scientific reasoning behind his powers as well. Because of scientists say that human beings possess the same elements within us that stars do in space. Calcium in our bones, sodium, hydrogen, oxygen, all that's inside of us is also inside of the stars too. So the crystal itself was crafted from the stars, and so when he gets the crystal, all of the elements that are within him are heightened 100-fold
because of the addition of the crystal.
Exactly. And so when he lost his leg, he was able to rematerialize his leg atom by atom, kind of like you said in the video, like Dr. Manhattan. So if he was to say go supernova and explode himself, because he has a connection to the stars and the crystal is still intact, he can bring himself back whenever he wants to. So that's kind of like.
So at this point, this is I really like when I saw that first trailer you dropped a while ago, when he's like the thing like it attached to his body and then he starts forming, like the suit starts forming around him and stuff like that. Yeah. What is that? Is that suit made of? What is that suit made of? Is it the energy of like the material of that?
It's the material, stardust essentially. It's like it's stardust, and he can manipulate the fabric of stars. So really, he's really controlling the matter of stars and turning it.
So that suit is made out of like matter.
Yeah, basically.
It's like pure, wow.
Pure star.
Now, is that a visible assimilation? So when he starts, I guess, like making a shield on him for himself, is it visible that you see the assimilation? Like you see, let's say, dust particles come towards him?
It's more like, because stars are like visually they're light, you don't see the dust in the stars. It's just like it's like a cosmic energy, like he has a blue aura around him, which is basically the supernova energy from the stars.
Okay. So I was just curious if it could be interrupted, like I don't know, send some kind of blast of energy his way. Could it be interrupted?
When you say interrupted, you mean like stopping the transformation?
No, like interrupting, like the pattern the aura that's around him. If you send him this weird energy, so if Black Bolt sends in this weird energy, can it discombobulate the crystals or the aura that's around him?
I would because of how much energy he's pulling from all of the stars, I say not really, but he does have a weakness that can I guess break through it. So there's a dark matter energy, which is the opposite of light. It's that's more or less his weakness. It can hurt him, but he can also bounce back from it. But yeah, that's pretty much what can hurt him, or somebody just as powerful as him, like somebody that can go blow for blow for him in terms of strength. That can also hurt him too. Like when you think about Superman, he fights people that are probably just as powerful as him sometimes, and still like he gets punched by Shazam. He can feel that.
Right.
Mhm.
I like this. I like this. So really quick.
I wanted to ask, like, because you have these celestial heroes and these powerhouses. Your character kind of gives me not like the Marvel remade, like the original Captain Marvel. Like that's what I'm kind of getting, like these celestial energy vibes. Now, even with the Marvel character, what's her name? The secret identity to Captain Marvel. What's it? Brie Larson. Not that's the real
Carol Danvers. Carol Danvers.
Carol Danvers.
Carol Danvers. So I don't think, from what I was aware of, I am under the impression that her powers are mainly the energy of the cosmos at this point. I don't recall her having super strength. Like she can fly, she's fast as hell, she can travel the universe, but is her power set like so is All Stars power set like that? Like I don't think Captain Marvel is lifting a planet like Superman, but is that how All Star is? Or does he have Superman level strength?
Oh, he has Superman. He has Superman levels of strength because his muscles.
That's the problem.
The elements from the stars strengthen his musculature as well as his bones, making his cells denser. So he's
okay. So he's bulletproof. He's bulletproof.
Yeah, he's bulletproof. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, okay, yeah, okay. I did see that in one of the panels. Like the bullets were literally deflecting off of his body.
And his aura, because his aura is made out of stars, and the cosmic stars are really hot. So honestly, if the bullets wouldn't even need to hit him; they could just melt.
Yeah.
Well, that is crazy.
Heavy.
That's why he doesn't feel it. He gets dissolved before it hits him.
So I'm thinking like for those of y'all familiar with My Hero Academia. So we're talking about like he's like the he's got the prosthetic limb or he has got no leg. When he taps into All Star, he goes like from All Might base to All Might. Is that what you're? That's what you're looking. So in his base form, he's like some scrawny dude, and then he goes into he transforms into All Star. And this is like, that's fire. That's fire.
But mind you, like I said, he still has that Marine training too. So he's not a pushover. Yes, he does have a prosthetic leg, but he still has that tactician background. Yeah, that military background too.
So add that in with super play. That's deadly, bro. That's serious. At this point, man, wait, man. So that's crazy. So I did it, dude. From somebody said from Concrete, he said Black Bull sounds scared. Look, I'm cool with All Star, bro. That's my man.
Now you see this? Now he just jump ship so easily. Get out of here.
Funny. I was gonna say, funny you said that because the one that said that has just arrived. We're gonna bring Mr. Leslie onto the stage. Welcome back, Mr. Leslie. How are we doing this Friday evening?
Yo, what's good? I'm just enjoying the show listening, man.
We need your help here, man. Let's talk about it really quick, and then we have another video to show in just a moment. But let's talk about it really quick, man. Your boy Deja Vu's getting dogged out. As far as we can tell, Black Bo and Xyla separately, not even teamed up, are taking Deja Vu out. Can we speak a little bit more to Deja Vu's precog? Can we talk more about his durability outside of the suit? Do you have some inside knowledge that we don't have? Not spoilery, of course, but like you have something that we're missing, possibly.
No. Plus, I think it's only right that Jari speaks on it.
Fair.
But if it was me, I look at certain things like I think precog is like an advantage.
Yes.
And so it just depends on how long the fights are going to take. At some point, somebody's tactics is going to change.
Mm-hmm.
So if you fall in the area where he's able to use his precog, then that'll just turn the table of the fight. So unless you have mid-range and far-range abilities against Deja Vu, I think he takes the win mid-range to close range, possibly. So
Okay, I see. Now, with that logic, Black Bow is already clear. He's confirmed cleared now. The next question is Zyla, but with her durability, with her healing factor, I don't think, and of course her endurance from what we've seen in there. Obviously, of course, we still got to talk to Jyree. I would love to hear his thoughts and stuff on it, but I don't know if he's outputting anything enough. As far as what we've seen in issues 0 and 1,
yeah, I
that's
don't think
stronger
there's
than an
anything
explosion.
out. There's
Stronger
not
than
enough out on
demons.
Deja Vu right now to say that.
Yeah.
But I do know his enemies are top tier, so that within itself, and then I know he has an arsenal. Like, he just about to release his dope bike in his next issue, so we don't know the type of gadgets and weaponry that Deja Vu is coming with. So that's why I said respectfully, let Jyree speak on that. If
Fair
you
enough.
let him reveal whatever he wants to reveal. But
I can dig that. So really quick then, as far as issues that are out right now, my personal thing based on what we've heard so far, the discussions, my mini notes, I think Black Bow and Zyla at this point, again, we haven't had Jyree to speak on it yet, but at the moment, I personally think Black Bow and Zyla are clearing against Deja Vu. Next up, we had Black Bow versus Zyla. We saw some seeds of dissension in that potential team up, but that durability and that healing factor, I definitely think is what's going to cause Zyla to win it out in the end. Again, I guess the level of threats that she's facing off against, the level of damage she can take before she even needs that regeneration is what's going to give her that edge against Black Bow for sure. And then that Black Bow and Zyla team up versus Shannon and Zakaya. Unfortunately, they're young and inexperienced, and their first move out the gate is not going to be the formless state. And the way that Zyla moves, just period, she's about that action right out the gate. Everybody else seems to take a little bit of time to try to feel their person out. And with Black Bow backing her up on top of that, easy win for Black Bow and Zyla. So we'll transition now. I got another video for you guys. We'll have a little bit of discussion following it, and then we'll reveal the actual matchup that we did on the randomizer wheel previously. Little video for that as well. But yeah, if you would play the video, let's get it.
Wait a second. A new opponent has interrupted the tournament.
Who was that?
So, we about to find out. She's about to play the next one. We're about to play the next one.
No.
Bailo Jones with Midnight Comics here, and we had to throw one of our characters into the indie breakdown. So with that being said, the bridge between God and man has risen as the powers of Amon-Ra, the god of wind and sun, the hidden one himself, have manifested into the hero known as Soul. At birth, the power of Amon-Ra integrated into Soul's body, the power granting him super strength, flight, super speed, and super durability. Due to this union, Soul also has the armor of the gods that manifests from within his body. This armor manifests the moment he begins to utilize his powers or when he's in immediate danger. This armor is strong enough to withstand the pressure and heat of the sun, and we see him fight Anubis, which each of those attacks was setting off a blast comparable to that of a nuclear blast. Soul may not have Amon-Ra's knowledge, but he has some pretty devastating moves. First up, we have the move known as Sunspot. When Soul pulls in power from the sun, darkness surrounds him. The heat of the sun is concentrated on him as he absorbs it. Through this, he is able to magnify the heat absorbed from the sun and direct it anywhere in his body for physical strikes or shoot them out as blasts. Remember when I said when darkness surrounds him? When Soul absorbs the energy from the sun, it actually removes all of its heat and light provided by the sun for that full 8 minutes. Soul also has an ability called solar flare. When Soul absorbs too much energy, his body begins to shoot out solar flares to dispel that energy. The flares lash out like whips. Soul also has the ability to manipulate the air in his immediate vicinity. Specifically, he's able to absorb it and completely remove the air from a particular area. Mostly, he uses it just to sense any disturbances nearby or really sense out any threats. All right,
Okay. I got a question for All-Star then. Mr. Starman himself. The sun is a really big star.
Uh-huh.
All right. The gaseous attacks, how would you attack him? How would you counter his sun absorption?
I mean, because All-Star pulls from all the stars, he doesn't necessarily have to pull from the sun. There are stars bigger than the sun.
Right.
So I would say he would just have to, if he's not quick enough to avoid the attacks, he would just have to take them. I mean, he would just have to take them.
Since he can pull from stars and Soul is pulling from a star, could you drain him of his powers? Potentially.
Yeah, I tried when making the character, I tried not to make him like too much like Superman, so I tried to stray away from the sun aspect. Like in terms of the yellow sun.
Oh no, I don't mean to control the sun, but because the sun is a star and your character can absorb energy from stars, can he pull from Soul, the character?
I mean, it's star energy. It's a star.
Right, so he can suck the energy from Soul.
It's a
really,
star.
I got a
really
question.
Quick, I was going to respond to that. Before, if 1 second, this guy asked just now, the pen and pad said, so if he takes too much energy from the sun, does it affect the earth? Short answer, very much so. And we will be exploring that fact in a later issue because, yeah, doing that too much, like what are the effects on earth? So that's definitely something that we're diving into really soon. Because again, if he's magnifying that heat, what damage is that doing as well to the planet is a whole nother thing we'll be exploring as well. So awesome question. And absolutely. Yeah, he's using his powers. Yeah, he's fighting the good fight, but like at what cost? So we'll be diving into that. I didn't mean to interrupt. What's that next question?
It was darkness. Like after he absorbed the sun, in the video it said that it was darkness for a brief moment, right? That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So he becomes the light. He becomes the sun for a moment,
right?
If you will.
Is the source.
He is the source for a moment.
That's insane.
You're muted. You're muted. Jamal, you're muted.
Yeah, so I mean, if we get to a supernova, it's all Soul's fault, man. Because you gonna cause the death of our star like 4 billion years ahead of time. Like, what's going on, man?
My bad, bro. My bad. I was fighting Anubis, bro. Like that's what I was. So, like when me and you chatted, Ronnie, I called you Ronnie, about All-Star, man, I was like, man, like how would that fight go? Right? I could see, because again, if you're absorbing Soul's energy, well, okay, I'm absorbing sunlight. We're shooting the same energy back and forth. What then would be the edge? The only thing that I can say that might allow me to cut out an edge is that it's not just the abilities of the sun, right? He has that slight air manipulation, but also the durability and strength of the two entities that the powers that reside within him, Amon and Ra, right? So those godly entities that reside in the mind of Amon Ra isn't there, but that strength and durability, speed, and all of that have integrated into his human body. And I think that's the only edge, again, because again, if we're pulling from stars, well, you're pulling from stars, I'm pulling from the sun specifically. We're just absorbing each other's energy. If he absorbs from Soul's energy, but how much All-Star can magnify that, of course, is still yet to be explored. And when you get to that point, then I'm like, Soul might lose. But of course, we're still exploring how deep those godly abilities go as well. But I definitely imagine that fight being closer to a tie, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it might be more of a tie. Like
I don't know if it's too much of a tie.
Okay.
But my question is, because Soul is pulling directly from our star, the sun.
Yeah.
But All-Star is pulling from all the other stars, which we all know is dumb far.
Not yet, though. Currently, only 1 to 2 stars in a closer vicinity.
So I think whoever gets to their star first wins. I mean, I'm not even trying to sound like I'm joking, just based on what I hear.
Yeah.
You know,
In
Rodney just said
space,
he doesn't
I
pull
think.
on this particular sun, but you do. And then 2, you know, does the strength of the star plays a role? Because just because it's illuminating, some stars are shrinking, they're losing powers, you know. So it's like if my gas tank is full and yours is quarter full, you know, I still have the advantage in distance, if that makes sense in
For sure.
comparison. So All-Star has a lot of science that he need to break down, because Soul directly says this sun, and we all know what, you know, the correlation there. So
Let me ask this of All-Star really quick. Durability. What kind of attacks is All-Star kind of shrugging off at this stage?
Okay, so if we're talking early All-Star, he only has like maybe 1 or 2 stars. In the book, I mean, he's walking through bullets. He can take on an army of men. I would say he's base level. If I was to compare him to any character in terms of strength, I'd say he's probably base level DCAU Superman from the cartoons. Like, he can still be hurt, but he's still a powerhouse. But if we're talking maybe 4 or 5 years into the game as a superhero, and he's got all of the stars at his arsenal, then that's, you know, I don't know, he's just on another level.
Godly. Superman 1 million swag.
Right.
Wow.
So it depends on when it depends on when Soul meets All-Star, I think, too. Like,
so of course with these, to build out the scenario, and you know, in the battle realm, Discord and all that stuff, Jamel is very, very aware of where I normally go with these. But you know, whether mainstream comics, manga, whatever the case may be, when building out the scenario, if we're going to say it's this universe, let's use what's canon. What is the current run? What is going on with the story and the character at this point? So obviously a lot of us are very early in, right? I'm only issue 2 in the Soul right now.
Right.
You know, you have the volume out. So, you know, Black Bow's issue 1. Gehenna's issue 5 at this point. Mm-hmm. Right, but then you have like Delta Dogs that's like in issue 20, right? So there's slight advantages and disadvantages and stuff all around.
Yeah.
Of course, you know, again, still taking from what we have. I like to use current arc, current runs, and what's been published already and stuff like that. But yeah, that is my worry later on in your story, All-Star. 4 to 5 stars. What does that look like? Like, sure, I'm exploring the Amon-Ra. Like, how strong are the gods, right? And how does that translate to Soul? And we're watching that growth right now. But at the moment, right? So Anubis is striking with these hits that are letting off, you know, these
nuclear
explosions that you can see from space, right? And he's surviving these. He didn't take a lot of damage. Say again?
No, I mean, like, right now in your story, you're talking about like Dragon Ball Z level cat, like, destruction. From what I'm seeing, from what you just showed me. So at that point, it's like these people are planetary beings, like, right now.
But I mean, but at the same time, and this is where I'm stuck at, and why I'm like, it might be a tie. If All-Star lets off a supernova, even at 1 to 2 stars, that's planetary as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean. So it's kind of
Soul has a draw though. Like, he can't assume. It sounds like he can't take too much energy, because if he does, it unleashes. He has to let it out.
Mm-hmm.
He consumes too much. Whereby All-Star seems like you just consume an unlimited amount of energy as well. And that's what I'm saying. I don't know All-Star's draws or setbacks and all of that. That's how I'm trying to find out. There's like a time gap between when he draws the power, because both obviously are both needs to draw the power. You know, whether Soul takes 5 seconds and All Star takes 20, you know, those couple of seconds is the biggest difference. And all Dragon Ball Z fans know seconds
Now,
and minutes matter to fight. So,
Yeah.
you know,
taking 20 minutes to charge the speed, like you could die in that
30
time.
episodes, yeah, right.
now I'll
30
say this really
episodes for
quick.
one attack.
I know Ronnie wanted to chime in as well, really quick. But Soul he has the strength standard. He doesn't have to power up now to use like the blast and add to his strength. He pulls from the sun. But again, that strength from Amon and Ra has integrated with his body.
It's already inside of him.
Right. Now, if he's going to be shooting the blast from the sun, he needs that from the sun. But just, if we're brawling, Amon Ra's power is still within him right then and there. But what were you about to chime in with just now, Ronnie?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I did this competition called OTT, but it's not in a particular book. You're talking strictly just from books, right? Because I did do like a competition where it was technically his first appearance, but
hey, if it's published and it's out there, brother, it counts. What do you got?
Okay, so there was a situation where he's All-Star fought this deity type character. It's like a godlike character, and All-Star, he took a punch. The guy punched him to the moon. He landed on the moon and said that almost hurt, you know. And then when the guy met him in space, All-Star absorbed the rest of the stars that are already out and hit him with a punch that was almost equivalent to a nuke, because he was able to absorb the star power that was around him. So,
okay. And right, he can. It's more. If I'm gathering this right, his access and the potency, I think, is the word I'm looking for. The potency to the utilization of these stars, or the energy acquired from these stars, is more potent when he's in space rather than in Earth's atmosphere.
I would say, even at night, if he's on Earth, his powers are still potent. But the closer he is, yes, if he's in space, I mean, that's he could be his strongest in space.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's more or less.
I like this. Okay.
Would you say Soul would be his strongest in space too, if he's like in the vicinity of the sun, right? Like he would just he's already there.
Yeah. Yeah. So no change there. Just
with Soul now, depending on like how that universe is, like you got these gods, right? So you got Amon Ra, and who's the other one?
Anubis, Amon. You have Amon,
right?
and you have Ra, but they fuse together, and that's what happened with that. But
that's right. So if Soul was to go into space, like can he go to outer space right now, like breathe like in the vastness of space?
So great thing. Absolutely yes. One of the things that's going to be happening, because again, he has that dominion of, and this dives into more of the hierarchy with the deities themselves, because of the hierarchy, if you would, and Ra's dominion over the sun and all of that. What we're alluding to is that he can exist out in the vacuum of space near that sun, because that is what sustains him. Not eating, not sleeping, not breathing, but the energy from the sun itself. Him as a human, ordinarily probably not, but what's providing him with that energy, the sun, is what's going. Think of Green Lantern, right? Can Hal Jordan survive in space? Absolutely not. But as long as that energy is surrounding him,
wow.
Right?
Okay.
And so if he's still in Hoodie, he's not fighting, he's not pulling energy from the sun, he's just chilling, and somebody swooped up and dropped him out in space, he's done. He's done.
So if he's chilling right now and Acolyte just snuff dude, like he's sneaking.
He's done.
So it's just over. Wow.
It's over. It's over.
That's crazy.
He can't transform in space?
Right. Well, he can, but what is our reaction? If we're using Acolyte as the example, and he can traverse the entire Milky Way in 2 days, Soul might not be able to react to that. And by the time he gets swooped up into space, he hasn't even had the opportunity to think about what's happening. Boom, he's out there. He's done. Because again, the disadvantage for Soul at this point in time, and to give a little backstory, we dive into this in issue 2, is Soul doesn't know truly what he is. That suit that forms on him, I want you to imagine how Gaara's sand shield works, where it's an automatic thing, right? It's, hey, I'm about to start fighting. Oh no, I'm in danger. It then forms, right? And
Oh
so
wow.
now when he pulls energy and stuff like that, that's intentional. But we even have a bit where we're like, he's just been doing that for the last, he's 27. He's been doing this for, the better part of 20 years. But one of the things we explore is outside of shooting the blasts off in a fight, he's never sent that energy back. He's never expelled all of it. And that's why he's so swole. It's a lot of energy. And we dive into how much of a strain it is on him as well still. So that's another disadvantage that he has against All-Star. Not to spend the whole time downplaying my character. But yeah, so like that's one of the things that we're definitely exploring, where it's like he has this power, but he doesn't have the knowledge. And it's about discovering that history, discovering where he gets these abilities from, and becoming his true self throughout the course of the story.
Right.
So
the
yeah.
whole time of him, like me being introduced to your character, I was under the impression that he was superhuman at all times. Like if he's like civilian mode and he's in the middle of a bank and a robbery happens and he's in between gunfire, I thought the bullets was bouncing off him.
No, yes.
So you're saying
that is the case, because his body is still durable enough for that. But if you drop him into space, right, and he's not being sustained by the sun, right, if he didn't actively call in some more energy from the sun to wrap his essence in and become that, he's going to have a problem.
Okay.
He's going to have a problem. Because he's not, it's not the think Luke Cage now, right? Internally is not getting covered by that suit. That's an external thing. Again, if I'm going to use Gaara as an example, Gaara doesn't have his internal organs protected by sand, right? And so my worry is, again, in the Acolyte example, no, if he gets swooped up into space and did not have enough time to coat himself and the energy that sustains him, it's going to be a problem. Now, how is it affecting him again without that energy around him? There is a lot of energy still residing in him, and that changes his kind of body chemistry, and he's really swole. That's the effectiveness of it at the moment. But in regards to breathing and stuff in space, no, not without that energy coating him, no.
So
but bullets bouncing off of him, yeah, absolutely.
So him being in space, like even around being in the presence of the sun, does nothing. Like without that essence, I mean, he can't. Like if he's unconscious and he's around the sun, it doesn't awaken anything. He's done for.
What do you mean? If he's not pulling it in, well, if he's already in space and they were fighting and stuff like that, if he's already absorbed that energy, yeah, he's fine. He's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, so like let's say if our fight ended up in space and we've already been fighting and All-Star knocks him out, he's not gonna die because it's still coated. He's still there. He's still there. But if there was again, if I'm gonna use because we've even seen this with Green Lantern. We've even seen this with Green Lantern where he'll be knocked down in space. The Green Lantern Corps will be gutted in space, but they're still there because that ring is still sustaining them. So same thing with the sun. If it's recent enough, if he's had the opportunity to take in that energy, it's there.
Okay.
But yeah. So
that fight would be cataclysmic though. Like that's a lot.
Yeah.
So
yeah, right now it's really
Black
tough
Gold
to call.
sounds like he's trying to inquire about which team he should jump to next.
Oh, what? Yeah. I'm like, I just said I'm cool with my boy. I'm cool with All-Star, bro. Be All-Star, but right, yo, I get it, yo. I get us in some trouble, bro. Roddy, you on the way, bro.
Now, if I'm going to add a little additional trash talk, like Acolyte's got way more years of experience in the game of utilizing the powers. Soul doesn't have the same training. I would have to say that Acolyte does clear Soul for right now. In his story, he has 10 years of training.
You putting up a fight because Soul looks a little bit more powerful than the last man standing issue with Acolyte. For me, Soul looks a little bit stronger than those 3 villains he fought, though.
Oh yeah, for sure. Soul is watching the Children of Chaos. He's watching the Children of Chaos. However, there's a level of finesse, and as much as I would like to say my character would win, there is a level of finesse with Acolyte because again, there's 10 years of training. Acolyte knows who he is. Acolyte knows what he is. Soul is still ignorant to that fact, and he doesn't have somebody to show him the way. His friend Taharka, who they've been friends for years, he's basically he has a company called Faro Industries, which stands for Philanthropy, Health, Ancestry, Research, and Optimal Health. And he's pretty much the Tony Stark / T'Challa, right? He's got the money, he's got the resources, he's doing what he can for the African diaspora, and basically, he's like, hey, let's research what you can do. So he helps Soul kind of test the limits of his powers, but even he is, to a certain extent, ignorant to what Soul truly is, and that's the edge that Acolyte has. He has Abner, he has his ancestral father to tell him what's going on. Pit and Pat said this is why we should have them just fight in base, just two humans fighting. I mean, yeah, that would be interesting. That would be interesting for sure. But Soul's base form is still the strength of Amon-Ra, right? With just no sun abilities, right? His normal human state is still the integration of godly strength.
You know, I'm anti these feats being the end all be all for these discussions. So if I look at it for what it is, I believe that's a straight tie. It just depends.
What, Soul and Acolyte or Soul and All-Star?
Soul and Acolyte. I feel like it'll be either a tie or a real tight win for Acolyte, and I would give it to experience. Like you said.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna base it off of issue 1 through 5. Like that's crazy to me. Okay. You know. I mean, no. You know, feats in comics are measuring sticks, but at the same time, as writers, we can write in anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, no. That's fair.
So if we understand who and what the characters are, then it's a better way to assess. So I would, for me personally, I only would give it to Acolyte just because of experience, and that's because of what you said. Now, if you said that Soul was experienced and he knew himself, then to me it's a complete tie. It's like, okay, this can go on forever. Everybody on planet Earth is dead because y'all ain't stopping. So that's how I would look at it. So
no, you got all these superhumans that are still around. Yeah, we good. Just start fresh.
No. I mean, Absolver.
Clean the slate.
The rest of y'all done. You know, but
now I you know, unfortunately now me and you have to trash talk. Unfortunately, as we've been good the whole time, but Soul versus Absolver. In issue 1 for Soul, he saw a Soul Devourer, a descendant of Ammit. If you guys are familiar with Ammit, the entity that you saw Moon Knight fighting in the finale of Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Basically, if Ammit had descendants, numerous descendants, and it's just a bunch of, little Ammits running around, Soul Devourers that are working under Anubis. And Soul saw that, attempting to take out a kid, or pull it because it was the kid's time. So that's another thing. Soul is getting in the way of the flow and life and death, a whole nother segment in issue 2 that you guys will be able to check out. But Soul hit the entity, hit Ammit once to a building. He sent it flying seemingly into space. The joint came back, punched it again, blasted it. Game over, dead. So he's like Xyla, just like Xyla. I'm as fast as possible. We're ending this fight. So I want to ask you to build out the scenario because it would be unfair for me to, because it's my character. Jamel, in the face of Soul, what is Absolver doing in a random encounter?
If we're just basing everything on who an Absolver is, Absolver don't look to bother nobody. So if you sneak up on them, yeah, you're going to get the first hit. But like I said, I strongly believe that, well, it's kind of hard to say the supernatural now because Soul is directly linked to supernatural. We talk about gods and everything. But to me, it'll just boil down to, like, you can't fully kill a Mezzo with just regular tactics. Doesn't matter how powerful you are. It'll take a supernatural event or way to destroy a Mezzo. So once you trigger Absolver, he's going to keep coming for you.
Okay.
And that's why I say at some point you're going to get caught up in some type of vanquish.
So let me ask this, and this is so obviously Soul would attempt to kill, but in regards to the kind of the specific nature and how to kill a Mezzo, if say Soul mimics the attack that he does in issue one, one of Ahmed's descendants to a crisp, how long would it take Absolver to regenerate from an attack like that?
Oh, as of right now, who he is in the first 5 issues, Absolver will take a minute to regenerate because he's just like Soul. He's definitely not fully aware of his capability. I would say he's pretty much still in the infant stage as of right now. So, damn. All right. So basically, how Absolver works is, yes, he can consume a plethora of abilities and knowledge and all of that, but it all depends on his mindset.
Okay.
He is not. He can have like 100 abilities. He can't. If he's calm and cool, he can recall it and use it. If he's frantic and scared or worried or mad, then it's hard for him to just pull out those abilities. And so right now, this is a giveaway. Acolyte Absolver is on autopilot. He thinks he's in control, but technically it's really his suit that's doing everything for him at the moment. So, with all that being said, there goes the advantages in the fight to whoever he's going up against, I would say.
Okay.
So,
okay, I can take that.
Taking my L's today because tomorrow
I got a question. Jamil, I got a question for Absolver. Now that ability it's giving me vibes like Ghost Rider, like look into your soul and like see all of your like deeds you've done in the past. It's like that vanquished ability. Like does that ability work on like weak-minded individuals, criminals, people that have done?
Now again,
like a strong-minded, like another hero or a person that's righteous and upright. Does that ability have the same effect on somebody like that?
If you have a spirit, if you have any kind of soul, alive, dead, if he can vanquish you, the vanquish is basically the 2 gems that's on his forehead and on his heart. And what that is every time God creates a planet or world, he leaves these specific gems for those that have domain over that planet. So technically, those gems belong to the first people that walked the earth was with Adam. So you see where I'm going with this? So the vanquish is more or less supposed to be, it gives that person dominion over said planet and so on and so forth. And that's all I can really say. So it's not about your mindset. It's about if God created you or God created it, he has dominion over it. But again, Absolver hasn't learned how to tap into that fully. So
not a byproduct, but directly created from God crystals. Is that what it is? So if you were created by God, like let's say firsthand, you have those crystals, but if you are a product of, then you don't have those crystals. The ones who have the crystals are who basically have dominion.
Yeah. So
am I getting that straight?
Say it again.
So basically, or for example, if you're created by God, then you have been given or anointed these crystals. Now, if you're a byproduct, like you have Adam and Eve and they have the crystals, but all of the descendants do not have the crystals. So who has dominion is Adam and Eve because they have the initial crystals. Is that basically?
Yeah. So they originally had the crystal. I'm not gonna get too deep into it because I'll give away too much. Right. But it's only a specific bloodline can use it.
Gotcha.
And that's all it is. So you have to look at it as
okay.
You have to look at it as things that get God always if I brought you in this world, I can take you out.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point, the end result for the planet is it's going to end. It's going to come to an end. God knows this. So to him, it's almost like it's like a USB drive that just save data and stuff like that. So that's basically what the crystals are. But now it's just being weaponized.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's basically how you're supposed to look at it.
Gotcha.
You know, it's that's all it is.
Okay.
But like I said, that I just feel like that's what gives Absolver the advantage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's just the only
So
move
I was
he
just trying to
knows of right
understand
now.
the English. So yeah, got it.
So really quick, and I want to apologize to Tasha in the background. I missed what she said earlier. She was responding earlier to Acolyte, and then of course in the second about Absolver. She said Acolyte's base is still pretty above human too. He's actually at peak human, so Batman, Captain America swag, what have you, before the energy. Just throwing that out there for anybody that was watching was still wondering the response to that. And then in response to the battle between Soul and Absolver, do we need to kill? And I'm assuming to, of course, make that a to solidify a win. Of course, no, not necessarily. You know what I mean? Mike Tyson's winning fights without killing people, right? So would Soul be at Absolver strength wise? Sure, but again, I don't see a counter to Vanquish. So of course, the answer is always in character. What's Absolver's first move in the face of an entity like that? Which we already kind of dug into just now. So I have a bias. Say again.
No, you know what? I don't think so. It's how you look at it. If it's a sprint, then obviously Soul, Acolyte, everybody's gonna body Absolver. It's a sprint.
Yeah.
But that's why I always bring up attrition, because if you poke the bear and you can't destroy the bear, it's gonna keep coming for you.
Yeah.
So at some point, you're gonna get caught.
Yeah.
So however you build a fight or decide to write the fight. If it's a sprint, yeah, sure, Acolyte win, Soul win, y'all can have that. But if it's a marathon, now it's a different conversation.
And I remember we were talking about this when we were talking about a different character of ours, the Raven Mocker. We were kind of talking.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, you're a bit muffled.
Oh, how about now?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I'm plugged my phone in just now, and my finger was definitely over the mic. I'm so sorry, yo. So basically, I remember us talking about the Raven Mocker, another one of our characters versus Absolver, and we were talking about how these characters, specifically Absolver, is almost like this Terminator, right? Where it's just like, yeah, you stopped me briefly yesterday. This fight ain't over yet. You know, I didn't yield, right? Like, I'm still here, right? And so, like, over and over again, that battle kind of continues. So, yeah, I would love to see, like, a continued kind of not stalking, but this continued kind of reoccurring battle, right, in an Absolver story or a crossover, whatever like that. I think it would be pretty cool. But it's getting late. I don't want to hold anybody up too terribly long. I do want to point out
it's Friday night.
I just want to get to this last question that Tasha asked, I believe. First time I heard of that was the characters from a universe without God, or do they have gods of that universe? So it depends on the universe. You know, when I created my spiritual realm, God is above everything. You understand? And then there's also God. So Mars at some point had their crystals. So that whatever planet, whatever God creates, that's just what he does. God has been doing this long before he created Earth, creating. So the dominion is vast and wide. It can, if Absolver ended up in Mars and they had people there, it'll work all the same. But just that these specific crystals are just here for Earth. So is there more of it? Yes. There is a shit ton of them. But only specific people or users can't have them, and Absolver is one of them. So, like I said, it depends on the universe that who's created. That's how it would work, in a sense.
Okay. So. All right. Now, this is a perfect segue. We're gonna really quick kind of go through the we did polls recently throughout the last couple days leading up, and in regards to the battles that the creators said that they wanted to do. Absolver was winning the heck out of that fight, and somehow it turned around towards the end for Acolyte to win. Absolver versus All Star, however, was a dead 50-50 tie. And then we had the Paladins versus Acolyte, which Acolyte did take the win completely there. So Concrete was coming with the fire throughout the course of that one. But really quick, what we're going to do to get ready to close out, we're going to go ahead and play the video of the official matchup of this season of Indie Versus. Now, it's not only going to be on Patreon. That is from previous. We're going to have the actual verdicts of who we think would win this match on our website this weekend. It will be narrated by the other half of Midnight Comics, Tashi J. And we have a whole script kind of written out how the battle would play by play happen. Pictures included from each story, making it make sense, and it's going together really good. So you guys are gonna be able to check that out. We'll post it.
Golly, man. Black Bolt seems like he's nothing without a sidekick, bro. Like, God damn, what he gonna do? That's why you should never jump ship. Now you by yourself. Look at you.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Look, I'm taking on 5 of the Delta. I'm taking on the Delta Dogs by myself. So man, well, I got a little aid, bro.
Right? Look at you.
But,
7. There you go.
Bro. Like,
all right.
I'm about to sneak. I'm about to sneak Absolver, bro. I'm gonna catch him in the darkness somewhere.
Bro, Absolver gonna look at you and just walk away, bro.
Right. No part of that.
So, really quick, the scenario for that matchup to get y'all prepared for it. So, basically, the Delta Dogs basically find you. Imagine your issue 1 where you killed that guy in the alley. That's what that scene is what's happening. And they're like, yo, somebody's dying over there. We gotta stop this crazy guy. Because they got superpower people in their story too. But they're like, there's this crazy guy in the alleyway. We're about to jump this guy. We can't have this happen in our city. And that's where it picks up at. Right there. So nobody knows each other. You still got the most experience out of them. You know what I mean? You got the most experience. There's more of them. But they're also, you know, if something happens to the youngest two, battle formations kind of break apart. You know what I'm saying? So there's some strategy in there. You guys are gonna be pleasantly surprised on how it works out, how it plays. And again, we definitely took into account everything that you and Vonell said in the indie breakdown, and of course, in the indie breakdown interviews and everything that we gathered from your individual stories and all of that. So be on the lookout for that this weekend. And before we close out, of course, I'll ask everybody, starting with Jamal, then Jay, Ronnie, and then Jamel, if you guys could go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you, and of course, where they can pick up your books.
Well, you already know, man. It's Black Bolt Comics, IG, Facebook, YouTube. You know, and catch me on my website to grab. Oh man, I'm dying. I'm out, but catch me on dab.com. All right.
Oh, is his phone dying? Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Oh dang.
That timing.
That's crazy. He got it out though.
He did. No.
All right.
Jay, what you got?
I'm Jay Wynn with Gehenna Imperium. Zyla with being the main character here. You can reach me on Instagram at Ruling Hand, Facebook at The Ruling Hand. You can purchase the books at Indie Planet or at Etsy.com. Etsy.com /shop/Ruling Hand. That comes directly from me. So you'll come with a signed copy, or you can go to Indie Planet, which is Ruling. That one has a dash hand. And you can buy it there as well.
Shit. Good.
Ronnie?
Oh, it's me? Okay. Ronnie Creates. You can find me on Instagram. Ronnie, RONNY Creates. Find me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Radical Comics is my official comic book company page. Radical Comics with a K. Radical Comics K. And you can also find my book, All Star Book One, Protect and Serve, in the link in my bio on Instagram as well as TikTok. And you can DM me for a personalized copy, and I would love to ship and mail my first book to you. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
Okay, Jamel.
All right, name is Jamil Lessie, writer and creator of Absolver. You can find me on IG, Absolver_the Wraith. On Facebook, Absolver Prince of Oblivion. I'm gonna start a new page called Absolver Destroys Acolyte 100%. And that's it. That's it.
Thank y'all so much. Of course, I'm Lloyd Jones with Midnight Comics. This has been the first season of Indie Versus. This has been the Creator Clash. Of course, stay tuned for this weekend, the Indie Versus official matchup between Black Bow and the Delta Dogs. And of course, we're Midnight X Comics everywhere except for Facebook and YouTube, where we're just Midnight Comics. And yes, as Tasha mentioned, join the Patreon if everybody can. These interviews, Jay will tell you, Black Bow will tell you, these months ago. We're talking March, April, May, even. And even back in those days, Indie versus Indie Breakdown was something completely different. This scenario has been was developed a while ago. So this verdict has definitely already been done, but you guys would get this months in advance, and of course the verdict, and be able to see these interviews and all this other stuff. So definitely check that out. We have our What If Wednesdays, our community character creation night. So if you want a character within the Midnight Comics universe, we go through the motions and create a whole character live on stream alongside of you, and that character will forever be immortalized within the Midnight Comics universe, and then you do whatever you want with that character from that point on. But instead of filling up the universe with just random characters in the background, strangers walking by, why not let it be you? But anywho, don't forget to check out our other series called What We're Reading, where we pick up all sorts of books, indie comic books, and talk about our thoughts on them. And of course, each one of you guys, we've definitely done that on. If it hasn't posted yet, it will be posting soon. And that's all I got. Remember, until next time, everybody, midnight is coming. And again, thank you guys for tuning in to the first ever season of Indie Breakdown. And of course, the second video for the Creator Clash. So thank you guys so much, and have a wonderful night. Enjoy your weekend.
Peace out.